Hi, this is Relationship Coach Renata Paris of GetRelationshipsRight.com. I help singles finally get dating right, and men and women in relationships and marriages bring love and connection back to their relationship. What you're going to be watching today is the first in my series of client stories. So I decided that what I was going to do is peel back the curtain and share with you a little bit of what happens in coaching and what happens with clients when they work with me. Now, just so you know, in case you're worried and if you ever want to become my client, all of the client stories are first written up and they are checked with the client. So I have full permission to share the stories, and the stories are shared completely anonymously. So everyone it's all completely above board. So today I'm going to tell you about the story of Nancy and how Nancy finally let go of her ex and the relationship that she was in. Or rather, how Nancy let go of her ex. The relationship had ended, the relationship had ended a while back. In fact, this is how Nancy ended up in coaching, is her relationship ended and she wanted to learn the lessons from the relationship and let go and move on and meet her right mate. And so Nancy and I have been working together for a little while. We probably had, I'd say maybe 4 coaching sessions, and she is in a much, much better place than she was when we first started working together. She's no longer sad. She's actually feeling pretty good, pretty light, pretty great about her life. This is what she told me. There's a more lightness about her life. Now, as we were talking, though, I still noticed that she's still a little bit stuck. And she said there's still a little bit of sadness. Something reminded her of her ex, and she started to feel a little bit sad. And so I decided that this coaching session, this last coaching session she and I had, that this coaching session was going to be the session when I was going to help her finally unhook from that relationship and finally be free so that she can go and attract the next partner. So she can be free to go and find the relationship that she really wants, that works for her. Now, so is it so easy to unhook? Is it so easy to just, for a coach, to just decide that it's time for a client to let go and for the client to just be done? It isn't always, but I've been getting her ready. And when you're working with someone who is a skilled change agent, such as I am, it is not so hard. It definitely takes work. And you know how difficult it is on your own to unhook from a relationship, to let go of someone you're grieving over. So you can imagine the relief that a client feels when they find a coach who can effectively help them let go of a relationship that's over. So here's what Nancy and I worked on. I'll peel back the curtain for you. There are 3 reasons people are typically stuck in relationships. Number 1 is they keep thinking about their ex-partner, and that will definitely keep anyone stuck in a relationship. Number 2 is the likeness of their partner to significant people in their past keeps the old relationship feeling very familiar and makes it very hard to let go of. And then number 3, it's very hard to believe that you can find someone that you will feel the same way about, or someone that you will be as compatible with. And this keeps people really stuck, grieving the relationship, or even stuck in a relationship that's dying and they can't let go. So the first thing Nancy and I did is we worked on, because Nancy wasn't thinking about her partner anymore. It was only when he was being ex-partner. It was only when thoughts of him were being brought up for her, let's say, that she was feeling sad. So the first part was handled. So we had to work on the second part. And so here's what she said to me. You know, she said, I know that you hear all the time that your partner is like your parents or like your father, for example, for women. But how likely is that? So Nancy and I did some work. We used some techniques that I use in coaching, including emotional freedom technique, but also other coaching techniques that I use to create quick change. And within about 20 minutes, she was shocked to realize that her partner was significantly like her father in ways that didn't work for her. There are some things that happened between her and her father that were actually pretty painful when she was young and then when she was a young adult. And what she realized is that her ex-partner actually reminded her of her father in these very significant ways that she did not want to have to relive again. In fact, these ways in which he reminded her of her father were exactly the things that she had trouble in the relationship with. So once you realize how close your partner resembles your father, of course you're not going to stay hooked into that relationship, because who wants to date your dad, right? No one. So that just realizing how close the connection was, how close the resemblance was, helped Nancy unhook quite a bit. And she said to me, I had never realized how similar they were in the way they treated me. So that helped her unhook quite a bit. And also realizing that she didn't want to be treated these ways again. She got away from her parents because she didn't want to be treated that way, and she certainly didn't want to be treated that way in a romantic relationship. So after about 20 minutes, that hook was gone. That familiarity that in some ways was comforting or was feeling like home, that was no longer there once we made that conscious. And so the last piece that Nancy was hooked on was this feeling that there were so many things that worked about the relationship. There was actually quite a bit of compatibility in their lifestyle and the way they lived their life and the things they liked and the ways they had conversations, in the ways that they had fun, and she was afraid she wasn't going to meet that again. And isn't that so typical, right? You meet somebody and maybe the relationship is not right because there are certain things that don't work, but there are enough things that do work that it makes you afraid that you will never meet a person who is that compatible with you again. Now, is that true? Because people meet other people all the time and get married, right? This is a normal occurrence in our lives. It is not out of ordinary to meet compatible people. But as long as you believe, because our thoughts create our reality, if you know law of attraction, or even if you just think about how you think about your life is typically how your life is. If you keep thinking that it's impossible to attract the right partner, that's what you're going to have. And making yourself have positive thoughts doesn't really work. What you really need to do is have a shift, have an emotional and thought shift that kind of allows you to jump into a different reality where it is possible to attract the right partner for you. And that's what we did for Nancy. And I'm not going to really talk about how, because it's individual for each person. It's not that I'm hiding some trick from you. It's individual for each person how the shift occurs. But because I am a change agent and because I'm her coach and I know her, I knew how to help her have that shift. And so within a short conversation within the same coaching call, we shifted her. And when we were done with the conversation, she was feeling much more open, much lighter, as if there was going to be a whole lot more possibility of attracting a partner who had all the great qualities of her past partner and a lot less of the negative qualities that she experienced and no longer wanted. And so the moral of the story, the moral of this client's story is, whatever holds you back in dating and relationships is real, and it's very hard to get through on your own. But if you work with someone who is a change agent and knows what they're doing, it certainly isn't going to take you a lifetime. It isn't going to take you years. It will take some time, but not forever. And it can change. And you are so worth it. You are so worth it to have change in your dating or relationship life. Now, do you want change? Do you want to let go of a past partner? Do you want to change the way you think about dating and relationships? Or do you want help in your current relationship? If you want to, you can try working with me as your coach in a 30-minute sample coaching session. And you can find out more about the session and sign up by going to getrelationshipsright.com/try coaching. This is relationship coach Renata Parise of getrelationshipsright.com, and thank you for joining me for Client Stories. Look for more videos in the Client Stories series where I will pull back the curtain of coaching and show you what happens in coaching sessions.